Welcome back to Market Movers, the opening bell, live from the New York Stock Exchange. Calls for a strategic Bitcoin reserve renewing following yesterday's harsh sell-off that saw Bitcoin slide to 3-month lows. In New York morning trade, we are looking at Bitcoin trading below 87,000. Now, amid the sell-off, the host of Bitcoin Investor Week, Anthony Pompliano, posting on X, quote, "Bitcoin's price is down. This would be an excellent time for the United States to begin dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. We should establish the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve now." At the same time, South Dakota lawmakers rejected a proposal to consider a strategic Bitcoin reserve during the current legislative session, choosing instead to postpone the bill to a later date. Meanwhile, digital assets are getting plenty of attention on Capitol Hill. The Senate Banking Committee is holding a subcommittee hearing titled Exploring Bipartisan Legislative Frameworks for Digital Assets this afternoon. The hearing will be chaired by Bitcoin bull and Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis, who will also serve as an honorary co-host for Bitcoin Policy Institute's Bitcoin for America Forum on March 11th. Joining me here at the New York Stock Exchange to break down where the crypto industry now stands is Russell Davis, founder and CEO of Shiba and InRussWeTrust Crypto. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me again. This is great.
Well, first and foremost, I do want to ask you about what we're seeing across the crypto landscape. We've been selling a sell-off and Bitcoin is lower. So what do you make of this price action we're seeing?
You know, it's kind of expected. After the election, there's a lot of questions, and we still have banks that are able to manipulate a lot of the products that cryptocurrency is releasing. So we need a little bit of regulation to stop some of these banks from bullying us, from getting things out to the public, educating everyone on what they're investing in. And like you said, just get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can right now because it's on a yard sale.
And the SEC, they have been dropping cases against some firms, including Coinbase as well as Uniswap. And as you mentioned, we're only a few weeks into the new administration. But when it comes to the regulatory landscape and legislation, what do you expect to see?
Well, yeah, that was really suppressing the market. So I think what we need, and people that are crypto OGs are probably not going to like me for this, but we do need a little bit of regulation without centralization. So we can achieve that very simply, just like you have a blue check mark on Twitter, on X. You can register, just dox yourself, put your real names down, and actually give some security for the anxious people that have never gotten into cryptocurrency, so that it kind of mitigates some of the risk that now we know who's behind some of these coins and tokens. I think that's going to be the future.
And speaking of the future, we're here about to head into the month of March, hard to believe. But 2025, 2025, the landscape for crypto digital assets, it's shifted quite a bit, considering what's happened the last several years. So when it comes to meme coins, Russ, what do you make of what we're seeing here?
So the meme coin market for the last 2 years has been really hot, but I think we're going to transition into more utility coins. Okay, so you're going to see coins like SolMax on the Sol chain that give dividends every 5-10 minutes, and it's going to, like I said, make people from TradFi, traditional finance, feel more comfortable. Okay, mitigate the risk, and so we can see a larger gray area in our Venn diagrams from, traditional finance and crypto. It's like, here's my traditional finance, here's my crypto, now let's join it together.
Yeah, and speaking of TradFi, we can't get more TradFi than the New York Stock
Exactly,
Exchange.
I love it.
But we think about institutional adoption, right, when we talk about the major cryptocurrencies and also altcoins as well. So given the recent sentiment regarding crypto from institutional as well as retail, what do you make of this divergence out there?
I'm not really sure if I know the question, what you're asking, but...
So retail investors versus institutional investors, the divergence.
Oh gosh,
sentiment.
okay, yes. Right now it's oil and water, but we are blending, and that's really what we need to do. Is we need to start with more education. I'm just going to go all the way back to education, because if we don't, we can't expect adoption with that, and that's what people have been doing the last 2 years is, oh, I want to catch up on crypto in 1 second, and this and that. It doesn't work like that, so you really do need to educate yourself, go with trusted sources online. Large followings don't always mean that you're trustworthy, so you got to DYOR, do your own research, and look at both the traditional finance side and the cryptocurrency people that are talking and that are in the spotlight, because they're there for a reason. They know what they're talking about. They're not always going to be right, but we're going to see a hybrid of currency in the future, and it's going to be digital. So we need to get on board right now. I think we need to start teaching our children. It should be part of the curriculum in our schools to educate what currency really is, stop looking at it under a microscope and pan out from a telescope, because that's what currency is going to become in the next couple decades.
Yeah, and you bring up an important point, because education is key here, and given the administration and expectations for regulation as well as legislation, we know that crypto is going to continue to be a part of people's portfolios. So for retail investors out there who want to know more about educating themselves, and of course there might be some FOMO out there, what would you say to them?
It's not done. 7% of the world's population owns a cryptocurrency wallet. So the most common comeback is, I'm too late. You already made millions of dollars. There's plenty of billions of dollars to be made in crypto. And so that's like the basic answer really, is just start somewhere and go online and listen to people like you on the stock exchange, but also listen to people that are in the crypto field, because it's going to be a blend. It's not going to be one or the other. It's going to be everything in unison together. So.
Okay, Russ, well, we will have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining me this morning, and thank you for sharing your insights as well as your experiences.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And we are just moments away from the ringing of the opening bell here at the New York